So for a project I'm working on, I was prompted to make a vision board. Years ago, I had this dream where I got back upstairs from my basement and looked up and realized I was inside a skyscraper. And that skyscraper was inside a city, and I was right there and had access to everything I could ever want, which is big for me because I live in the middle of the North Woods where I'm an hour away from anything. So that was pretty cool in that dream. And so that ended up going into a vision board of sorts. So the Roman room theory states that if you're giving a speech, you lay out all of the points of the speech in rooms that you have to go through. So you start walking through the building. All right, in this room I have like a flower pot that represents that, this represents that. Okay, I went through this room, into the hallway, transition into the next thought. A mind palace is the same thing, but instead of for speeches, it's for your thoughts. I've often tried to organize my thoughts according to this mind palace, but the problem with it is every time I try to arrange everything in a three-dimensional space, even if I draw it out, I can't decide what's what. Because when I arrange things according to time, according to project, according to prerequisites, according to necessities, I start rearranging it every time I look at it through a different perspective. This isn't a structure, it's not a palace, it's not a skyscraper. This is a labyrinth. It keeps rearranging no matter what I'm doing. So that is the problem with this, and that is the problem I had with my vision board. I'm like, okay, finally, I have to create this vision board. Let's build this skyscraper. Let's, from the ground up, let's start organizing things and put it in place. And I ended up with the same problems. Every time I tried to put things in their place, they started rearranging. So that's one problem I had. I had two more problems with this project. So what are the two other problems that I ran into with this? Is that every time I find a project, one, putting something, a goal on here, had prerequisite goals that I needed to accomplish and dates associated with those prerequisite goals. And the more I focused on, I want to do this, the more I dug deeper and deeper and deeper and found a rabbit hole just in this tiny little corner. And I had this big thing, this big whole life that I needed to fill up. I can't fit it on here.
Sometimes it's just easier to do something than to plan it out.
Dates. I'm supposed to put a date on it. Like, what's the due date of this? Well, this is ongoing. Every time I set a date, like, okay, all the videos for this channel need to be optimized and they need to be uploaded by March. It's like, okay, I set that date, now I'll go do something else. And then March starts to come, it's like, oh, I have to hurry up and get these videos done. Like, no, that's not a start date, that's a due date. You need to have them done by then. So every time I put a due date on the calendar, on this vision board, it actually created obligations for me today. So every time I put like, okay, this is a monthly audit thing, I realize, yeah, but I need to actually be working on it daily in order to have something to audit. This is a weekly improvement thing. Okay, I'll increase every week, but what am I doing daily that I'm going to be changing on a weekly basis? Kind of worthless to put dates on this thing if I'm not actually putting next to it, hey, this is actually a daily process. And that's where it comes down to your life being a part of your vision board.
The first problem, too many ways to arrange these different goals. The solution was to throw everything on the board to see what sticks. Then you find out the categories you have and you can break it down to simple groups.
I put all my projects that I wanted to accomplish on this vision board. All right, let me show you what I got. On the bottom, I have vision. Like, this is my dreams, my fantasy, whatever, things I want to do. Now, moving up, on the left side, I decided to start putting like my life, the behind the scenes, everything I needed to do to move up. All right, so I needed to put my life in order. So I have organizing my life on the left side, and then I have my projects and money-making opportunities on the right side. Now, on the right side, on the bottom, I have sort of those fantasy world things. This is I have a sand castle there because that's all about my sandbox projects, the little places that you have to experiment. And then as you move up, I have all of the things that I'm currently working on, about to release on this, that, and the other platform. Now, on the right side of that, I have all of the ways I can make money with a similar project or adding it to the existing project. And so I have money-making opportunities. Now, in the center of this is self-improvement. At the bottom, I have a Bible, and here I just drew a little cross. That's important to me to stick to my values and my faith. That is something that I put in here. Hey, focus on this a little bit more every single day. I have on here a little pill, but actually on the vision board, what I had was an image of Limitless logo. That's all about, for me, it's not about taking a magic pill and becoming capable of everything. For me, Limitless was about realizing your full potential. In the movie, they said like it's all about not using just 10%, but using 100% of your brain. That's not really an accurate representation of how the brain works. But for me, reaching 100% of your potential, and who knows what the upper limit of that is all what it's all about, is reaching your fullest potential. So anyway, I have on here like a little person because that's all about exercise. So I have on here mind and body, and part of that is going to be educating myself on cellular nutrition as well, so that I can promote my body and thusly promote my brain health. So really, brain health is all about thinking good thoughts that get you in the right direction, and 2, it's all about having the right cellular nutrition to power your mind. Now moving up, I have sharing. I mean, that's what this channel is all about health and wellness and financial improvements in your life, and then sharing that with other people. And that involves like social networks and everything else. And up above that, I have me. Like, this is me to the world. So on the right side, I have me to all the networks of all the world, and then me on the left side to my family, the things that are important that I have to do for my family. Now on the right side, up above, I just use YouTube as like just a general description for my projects, because almost all of them have an associated YouTube channel that assists the projects, whether it's art or podcasts or whatever. But that could be any project I'm working on which has an audience. On the right side, all the money, and above that, I had this concept of sharing with a network of people. So then with that project, then I have goals of reaching like 3,000 people to potentially get 36 customers and 4 other business partners. And I want to do that in the next 3 weeks. It's like, how do you do that? Well, you have to reach people who are going to reach people who are going to reach people, and not all of them have to be interested. And so that's going to be an interesting project that I'm working on. So I've actually, on this board, I've laid out a little bit more detail.
In the real world, you have projects within projects within projects. The solution is to just stop digging deeper. Put up a simple category.
So the whole point of a vision board, I really had to boil it down. Here's the simplified version. In the center, that's all self-improvement. Well, on the right side, I have my projects. Underneath that, I have projects I'll eventually get to. And then I have money-making opportunities. And as I move up, I have this networking graph and then my goals for the main project that I was making this vision board for. Money-making, responsibilities, friends and family, business partners, customers. In the center is you improving yourself. And the more you improve yourself, the more you can help people around you, the more you can share with other people around you. I super simplified the whole thing. That's essentially what I needed to do, because the more I tried to work on one area of it, the more detailed and complex. Look at this final vision board for the first draft. You can't see anything, there's just so much there. So,
the problem of setting simple due dates for goals isn't really a problem at all. Throw up the goal due date, but then make separate project portfolios and schedule the processes out. And then live out these goals daily along with other things that inspire you. So everything in your life essentially becomes your vision board.
Like, this video is a part of my vision board. Everything I do on a daily basis is practically my vision board. Every time I write a chapter of a book for National Novel Writing Month, that expression is part of my vision board. Every time I paint a painting, that expression is a part of my vision board. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. Every expression that I have, everything that I live for, everything I do is building up a part of that vision board. Your life is your vision board. When you say, I'm going to do this in a month, you have to start today. What you do today is what you're building up. You have to be building up to your due dates. And so what I ended up with was, instead, like, I may as well have a calendar. When it comes to looking at a project, taking on that project, and then looking at all the prerequisites for that project, and then scheduling them out, you need to create portfolios for every single project, create a calendar for every single project. This is a massive Massive thing. So the first thing with a vision board is just keep it simple. And don't try to do it all at once. Scheduling all your projects, don't do it all at once. All right, so you can't possibly do it all at once, because once you do, you realize this thing splits off into these responsibilities, or split off into these responsibilities, or split off into these responsibilities, and you do that for multiple projects, and you realize 3 days have gone by and your vision board isn't done yet, and you haven't done anything else either. That is an exponential rabbit hole. It's not a rabbit hole anymore. This is a black hole. Just have a schedule. But the nice thing about this vision board, once I simplified it, I kind of had to do like a lot of these complex things to realize the bigger picture, like, oh, this all fits into this category, this all fits into that category. Just stop. Put things into categories. So that's the categories. Let's simplify this. Let's simplify this all down. Something I realized while I was trying to figure out if I could gamify my life, your musts are really just wants that have obligations. Like, even when it comes down to the very core must in life, I want to live. In order to live, I must eat. In order to eat, I must make money. The thing that makes a difference between a must and a want is how dire are the consequences if you don't fulfill the obligations, the prerequisites. So anyway, these are the things that have dire consequences. So you have your family and friends, you have your musts, ordered life. So what do you need to do to clean up your life? Clean up your room, clean up your calendar, clean up your notes, whatever you're doing, just clean things up. Workflow, etc. I'm just going to call this growth. Well, here's your money-making opportunities. And I'm just going to put a big box because only you know what your personal projects are going to represent. Outreach. So I'm just going to put a big person there. The people, your audience, your clients, whatever you're trying to reach is the person. Maybe this is just your own personal little project, but I put money-making projects in this category. And then you have to give yourself rooms to experiment. Big sandcastle because you're in a sandbox. That sandcastle, that's your experimental things you want to try. These are your necessities and close people. These are your business desires and people you want to reach with those business desires. This is your personal growth, and this is the people you want to share it with. And then underneath all of this, with your projects and your money making, you have your experimental sandbox projects that may become something that can be something bigger, a bigger project, a bigger money-making opportunity, stuff like that. Once you've ordered it in this way, you've created categories of things. Now you can create sub-projects, like holidays. Make sure you attend birthdays. You want to make sure that you're there for Christmas. Like my Christmas tree. You have obligations. That means paying the bills. All right? So that's a must. You have to pay your bills. You have to make food. You need to do the dishes. All these things involve daily activities. Are you going to be ready for that birthday? May as well start looking at birthday gifts right now and then hide them, even if it's a year in advance. Getting your life in order, cleaning, etc. Getting your workflow. For me, that's an assembly line. So break these things down, and then once you break them down, you can break them down more, and once you break those down, you can break those down more. But don't just sit there on a whiteboard doing this for an eternity. Grab a calendar for every single little project. Grab a sheet of paper for every single project. Sort of draft it out, but then go and do something, and then add it to that calendar. Like, I'm still a work in progress myself, but at least this is a starting point, a jump-off point to start to organize. So that's what I'm going to do with every project. I'm going to create a calendar. I'm going to create due dates for those things so that I can see them all in front of me. Your calendar is your vision board, and all of your output from working on these things is also a part of your vision board. Your life is your vision board. The things that you want to do and have in 5 years obligates you to do something today. So what are you doing today to make this happen? It's hard to do anything if your life is not in order, if your life is not organized. So if you want to see more about organizing your life, check out this video here. Otherwise, if you've seen that one, I urge you to check out this one right here. That might help you out a little bit. Have a great one, everybody.